Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today we are going to discuss the sutta from collective discourses from Samyutta Nikaya, second part. The name of Can you remember the discourse we discussed last week? Pitagiri Sutta. In that discourse, at the end of that discourse, Supreme Buddha explained very important thing that's called Saddha, pleasant mind or confidence about the knowledge of Supreme Buddha. Moola Jata, that confidence should be rooted. Patichita, that confidence should be well established. So, it is very important to know about Supreme Buddha's knowledge. Then it will help us to build a pleasant mind. Then that pleasant mind will help us to follow this Dhamma. Can you understand? So most important thing is that pleasant mind about the knowledge of Buddha. If we want to have a pleasant mind about that knowledge, definitely we must know about that knowledge, isn't it? So then we have to learn that Dhamma. Again, this Dhamma has a quality, Panyavatassayan Dhamma. This Dhamma is for the wise. Nayan Dhammo Dupanyasa, not for the unwise. If the listener has that quality, what is that quality? Wisdom. Then this Dhamma will be there in his life, then he will be able to cultivate that pleasant mind in his life. So please remember that pleasant mind or confidence means the confidence about the knowledge of Buddha. Saddhati Tathagatasya Bodhi. Bodhi means knowledge. Our target as a noble disciple of Supreme Buddha, our one and only target is to understand Four Noble Truths in this dispensation. To understand these Four Noble Truths, most important thing, the initial factor is the association of noble friends. Then we will be able to listen to that true Dhamma. Then as a disciple, as an internal factor, wise consideration will be developed, investigation about that Dhamma. Then he will be there in the path to understand Four Noble Truths. Then step by step he will reach the target. Noble truth of suffering should be understood. Origin of suffering as a noble truth should be eradicated. Cessation of suffering as a noble truth should be achieved. Path leading to the cessation of suffering as a noble truth should be followed. This is the target. So that is the case with a noble disciple, Today from this discourse we can learn the struggle to attain enlightenment. The research our great teacher did as a bodhisattva before attaining enlightenment. Then we can understand the landmarks of that research. Then again it will help us to develop our what? Yes, confidence or pleasant mind about knowledge of Buddha. Can you remember, before attaining enlightenment, as Siddhartha, the prince, in his prime youth, there was that great wisdom in his life, even before attaining enlightenment. He considered like this. He thought, in this world, all beings, being themselves subject to birth, aging, illness, death and sorrow, they are seeking the same thing. They are seeking what is subject to birth, what is subject to aging, what is subject to illness, what is subject to death, what is subject to sorrow. Then he turned to his life. What am I doing? Being myself subject to aging, illness, death, sorrow and defilement. What am I seeking? Same thing. He understood before attaining enlightenment. As in his prime youth, when he is in that palace, then he understood what is the purpose of this struggle. At the end of this struggle, to achieve satisfaction to this life, then the aging and death will be there at the end of this struggle. Then again and again I am in the same problem, same puzzle. Then after attaining enlightenment, he understood, Supreme Buddha understood this is a research. It is a research. Being himself subject to aging and death, he seeks what is subject to aging and death. This is a research. It's called ignoble research, ordinary research, anareparation. This research is in the world. Then, when he was enjoying in that palace, he thought, no, I won't escape from this ordinary situation. I want to find unborn, unaging, unhealing, deathless, sorrowless, real happiness. Then later he understood it's also a research. How to call that research? Reparation. Yes? Noble research. We are very lucky. Today we can listen to that research. Otherwise, we have to live in that ignoble research forever. And again and again we will have to be reborn throughout this endless samsara. Today we can understand about that ordinary research and noble research with the help of this Dhamma. It was proclaimed by our teacher. But at that time, when he abandoned all the luxury things and when he renounced to ask an answer to this question, no one was there to teach him. Then he has to struggle for 6 years, seeking for teachers, and by practicing so many ascetic practices, self-mortification, he understood there are two extremes in this world, extreme of sensual pleasures, then the self-mortification. In that time, there was a teacher to teach him about these extremes, so he has to experience himself. Then, at the end of that 6-year time period, one day, he sat under a tree. The tree is called Bodhi tree. In India, Bodh Gaya. By thinking that until I attain the realization, enlightenment, I don't want to stand up from this place. But he doesn't know what to do to attain that enlightenment. But he has a meditation. That's the only key factor or tool with him. What is that meditation? Anapanasati, breathing meditation. Then with great, incomparable effort, incomparable mindfulness, incomparable wisdom, step by step, he was developing his concentration by doing that breathing meditation. Then his mind was concentrated little by little. Then special knowledge arose in his mind. Through that knowledge he understood now as a bodhisattva. He understood about his past lives. That knowledge is called recollection of past life. Pubbē nivāsānussati jnana. From that knowledge he understood there is a long journey. That journey is called samsara, birth and death, cycle of birth and death. Then he understood I had to be reborn as an animal, and in the hell, in the ghost world, human world, heavenly world, so many times. And the beginning point cannot be seen. There is an undiscoverable beginning point. This is the first knowledge. Then again he was developing his concentration. Then second knowledge arose. What is the second knowledge? Chutupapāta jnana. From that knowledge, by that time there was another special faculty in his life. That faculty is called Divya Chakku, divine eye. Then he could see the things which cannot be seen by this physical eye. Then he understood. From first knowledge he understood about his life. From the second knowledge, then he thought, what is the case with other beings? Then he understood all other beings. They are in the same journey. Birth, cycle of birth and death. That knowledge is called passing away and reappearing of beings. Chutupapāta jnana. Then there was a great compassion in his mind, sympathy. This discourse is from that point. Now he has, as a bodhisattva, he has how many knowledge he has now? True knowledge. First one is recollection of past life. Then the second knowledge is knowledge of passing away and reappearing of beings. Then Pubbeva Sambodha, before attaining enlightenment, on that same seat, Bodhisattvasya Sato Etadrosi. As a bodhisattva, we consider like this. Chittang vatayang loko apanno. Alas, this world, these all beings are in great danger. Jayati, all beings are born. Jiyati, aging. Niyati, dying, passing away. Savati, passing away. Uppajjati, reborn. Again and again. Atacha panimassa dukkhassa nissarana nappajanati jaravarana. But no one don't know to escape from this mass of suffering. Kudassana vimassa dukkhassa nissarana panyaya jaravarana sati. When these beings escape from this suffering, aging and death, this was the question. After that true knowledge. Can you understand? Okay, then Can you remember that special factor as a noble disciple we discussed? Wise consideration. Now let's listen to our great teachers struggle to attain this the rarest knowledge in the world, the way he struggled. Then he thought, Kinniko sati jara maranam hoti. Now what is the question? How to escape from this aging and death? Again and again they have to face for aging and death. From this world, then they go to another world, and from that world they go to another world. Then one time they are like animals, and then devas, then human beings, then our ghosts, then the beings in the hell, much suffering in their life. At the end of all these lives, results, there are two results, aging and death. Think about the wisdom of that young man, Siddhartha. Then he raised that question, Kimunuko sati jara maranam hoti. Now we see a number of people, they are aging and they are dying. But how many of think that what the reason is to this aging and death? Then that Siddhartha Bodhisattva, Gautama Bodhisattva thought, what is the reason to this aging and death? And why is this aging and death? Isn't it a good question? Yes, very, very good question. Simpatya jara marananti. What is the reason to aging and death? What conditions aging and death? Simpatya jara marananti. Now you listen very carefully. This is the way our great teacher understood Four Noble Truths. And this is the same way to follow as a noble disciple to escape from samsara. So, this is the beginning point of this investigation. Then, Yoniso Vanasikara Ahupanyaya Abhinamya. As a result of his wise consideration, then now can you understand? Then he has the purification by the body, speech and mind. That's called virtue, morality. Then, because of this blameless life, now he can develop his mind. Then that morality will help to develop concentration. Now he is developing his concentration. Now he has developed his concentration to the fourth jhana in this new movement. Then he is developing the third factor. What is the third factor? Wisdom. Morality, concentration, wisdom. Now when you hear these three factors, what can you say about these three factors? Where are they? In the Noble Eightfold Path. But now he doesn't know about the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay? So it's very, very interesting. Then he has that purification, he has that virtue and concentration. Then he is trying to attain wisdom. He is considering wisely. Because of this wise consideration and with the help of his wisdom, he understood Jatiya ko sati jara maranam hoti. When there is birth, aging and death is there. Jatipatya jara maranam. Birth is the reason for aging and death. This is a marvelous discovery, because without the help of knowledge of Buddha, no one would know the reason to this suffering. So, what is the reason to this mental suffering, physical suffering, illness, aging and death, and to all these things? But most of the beings, human beings in the world, thinking to escape from suffering, they asking for another birth. They asking for another birth. Isn't it the situation? This is called ignorant mind. Avidyagata. Okay, then later he understood the meaning of this birth. Birth means obtaining an eye, obtaining an ear, a nose, tongue, body and mind. Obtaining 6 faculties is called birth. If there is these 6 faculties somewhere, then there is the aging and death. As a door, there are these 6 faculties. Then the aging and death is there. As a deva, as a god, there is these 6 faculties. Because the birth is obtaining 6 faculties. Then that all beings go in the heavenly world, or gods, they are aging. They have face for it. In the animal world, all animals, they have 6 faculties and face for aging and death. All beings. Then his next question. Kinniko sati jati hoti. What is the reason for birth? Kimpachya jati. What conditions birth? Because of his wise consideration and with the help of his wisdom. Can you notice this one? This is the word Yoniso Manasikara. This is a Pali word to wise consideration. Now can you understand? We have also had to develop Yoniso Manasikara. So our teacher also understood this Dhamma by developing that fact. Wise consideration, Yoniso Manasikara. Ahupanyaya Abhisamaya, with the help of wisdom. He understood Bhaveko Sati Jati Hoti. When there is arranging of karma or bhava, in Pali bhava, there is the birth. With this knowledge he understood no one gives the birth. No one creates beings. And this birth is not by chance. This birth is not to their own wish. This birth is a conditioned one. There is a reason to this birth. What is that reason? Bhava. In Pali bhava. Bhava means arranging of karma. When the beings do action with their body, speech and mind, then always there is an arranging of karma to another birth. Is it clear? Bhava Pachya Jati, arranging of karma, conditions birth. Arranging of karma is the reason for birth. Now we have an eye. What is the reason of arising this eye? Sakkum Bhikkhave Purana Karma. This eye is an old karma. Purana karma. Old karma. And so all these 6 faculties have been aroused by karma. Is it clear? Then he didn't finished his investigation and he went further. Kimmuniko sati bhava hoti. What is the reason for this arranging of karma? Now is it clear about karma? Yes, there will be, if they act in good ways by wholesome things, doing wholesome things by body, speech and mind, then there will be a birth in a good world, pleasant world, in heavenly world or in human world. And if they act with unwholesome things by their body, speech and mind, then there will be a birth to suffer in an unpleasant world. Okay. Why is this? What is the reason for this arranging of karma again and again? Upadani ko sati bhavati. All these things are new things to that bodhisattva. He hasn't realized never these things, never before. Upadana paccaya bhava. Clinging is the reason for arranging of karma. And clinging conditions arranging of karma. Then he didn't come to the end and he didn't come to the conclusion about clinging. Then he understood, there are 4 kinds of clingings. Clinging, can you understand the meaning of clinging? Yes, the desire, the attachment. Yes, strong attachment is called clinging. So what are these clingings? Kama upadana. Clinging to sensual pleasures. Then he understood, what is the meaning of this one? Because of clinging to beautiful forms, because of clinging to sweet voices, smells, taste, tangibles, then there is the arranging of karma. Can you understand? Okay. Then clinging to views, vidyupadana, views. They believe so many things and they cling to his view. They cling to their views. They do not believe others' teachings, other things. They cling to their own views. They think this is the only truth, anything else is wrong. View. Because of this view as a clinging, then again the arranging of karma is there. Then the third clinging is Silabbata Upadana, clinging to rituals and observances. They follow so many things and they observe so many practices, thinking this is the way to escape from suffering.
Sacrificing animals.
Yes, so many things. Then the last one is clinging to self-view. Not knowing the cause and effect system, beings think that there is an eternal person in this life, and as a self, that self can be controlled by themselves. That's called self-view. So then that Bodhisattva understood, these beings cling to these 4 views, 4 clingings. Can you understand? Then again is research. Kimmuniko sati upadana hoti. What is the reason to this clinging? Kimpaccaya upadana. What conditions cling? Yes. Pannayako sati upadana moti. When there is craving, there is clinging. Tanna paccaya upadana. Craving conditions cling. Is it clear? Then he understood why these beings cling. Why do they cling to these things? Then he understood They cling to sensual pleasures because of craving to sensual pleasures. Can you understand? Then they want to enjoy with those sensual pleasures. Then they want a person called self. For this clinging, the reason is craving. Craving for forms, craving for sounds, craving for smells, odors, craving for taste, craving for tangibles, craving for thoughts. Is it clear? Then again his research. Now we will think, oh, if the craving is the reason, no, okay, it's okay, now we have to eradicate craving, then we will finish the research. Because always we want to simplify, isn't it? But he didn't stop his research. He wanted to understand all the roots of this suffering. Himmuniko sati tanna hoti. What is the reason to this craving? Impachya tanna. What conditions craving? Because of his wise consideration and with the help of his wisdom, he understood Vedanaya sati tanna hoti. What is the reason to craving? Feeling. Because when they see forms, when they hear sounds, and when they smell odors, when they taste flavors, when they touch tangibles, there is a gratification. Then the desire arises. Then they cling to that gratification. To achieve or to enjoy with that gratification, they do whatever they think. Good actions or bad actions. Then they speak good speech or bad speech. Then they think good thoughts and bad thoughts. This is called arranging of karma. Then there will be another world. Okay, Vedana, feeling. So where are these feelings? In eye, in the six faculties. In these six faculties. Feeling. When they see a form or when they hear a sound, then there will be a feeling. Okay? So how many feelings are there in these six faculties? 6 feelings. Okay. Those are called Chakku Sampassaja Vedana. The feeling born by the contact of eye. In this way you remember, you keep in your mind about the 6 kinds of feeling. Then again research. What is the reason to this feeling? Yes, now you know all these things, but under that Bodhi tree, no one was there to teach him. He wanted. Then there were the struggle with evil one, the Mara, gang of Mara. They say, Siddhartha, this seat is not yours, this is mine. You go out from this place. There are a number of members to his side, to Mara's side, that evil one. He will not help to escape from this samsara. Then there was only that Siddhartha under that Bodhi tree. But he didn't abandon his struggle. Then he understood Phassa Pachaya Vedana. The reason is contact. Contact is the reason to feel. How can he understand this one? When we close our eyes, is there a feeling in the eye? No. Then he understood contact means meeting of I, form and I consciousness. It's called contact. When we close our eye, there is the eye and there are forms. What about the contact? Is there a contact? No, because the consciousness is not there at that moment to recognize that form. When these three factors are there, at the meeting of these three factors, then the feeling arises. Feeling arises. Is it clear? Okay, then as a bodhisattva, he understood contact. Again he researched. Kimpachya passo. What is the reason to this? Contact. Why is there the meeting of these three factors? Why can't I escape from this meeting? Now we go for meetings and so many meetings and ceremonies. What do you think about this meeting? Meeting of suffering. Always we are in that meeting as okay. Then Salayatana Pachya Passa. What is the reason to this contact? 6 faculties. This is the reason. There is an I. That's why there will be that meeting there. If there were not an I, then that meeting will not be there. Okay, then Bodhisattva, because of his wise consideration and his wisdom, understood the reason is 6 faculties. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Then you have to practice in this way. I know these things. So what are those 6 faculties? Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. Again, he considered what is the reason to these 6 faculties. Kimpachya Salayatana. Salayatana means 6 faculties. So what is the reason to these 6 faculties? Now we have 6 faculties. Did you think the reason to these 6 faculties? No. We thought, okay, how to go to watch that? When can we go to watch that? When can we buy that? When can we taste that one? He thought in this way. Then he considered, and because of his wise consideration, he understood Namarupe ko sati salayatana hoti. These things are very, very important and no one can understand other than a Buddha and a noble disciple who is trying to follow this path. Then he will understand, he will learn these things with the help of this Dhamma. Namarupa, mentality and materiality, is the reason for these 6 faculties. Think about that knowledge, a great knowledge. Then he understood the reason to this I. At the background of this I, there are 4 great elements. Earth element, water element, heat element, air element. Okay, this is Rupa. physical things, this I element. Then Nama, and there are again mentality factors. In a dead body, there are only these four great elements, only a physical I. It will not help to go this samsara. If that I should be alive, can you understand? So in that live I there should be now feeling, perception, formation, contact, attention. Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Phassa, Manasika. Can you understand? If it is an alive I, then there is a feeling in that I. And there is a perception. We can perceive forms by using that I. Then when we see a form, then the thought will be there in the mind. That's called formation. And if that is alive I, then the contact is there. And the attention is there. Can you understand? This is a great discovery. Namarupa Pachya Salayatana. Mentality and materiality condition, 6 faculties. Then he understood Kim Pachya Namarupa. Kiminiko Sati Namarupa Murti. What is the reason to this mentality and materiality? Now, if we can take this I to a plate and can we understand these things? Okay, these are the things in the background of this I. Can we understand? No. One faculty should be developed. Wisdom should be developed to understand the background of I. Then, because of his wise consideration, he understood Vijnane Kosati Namarupam Hoti. When there is consciousness, there is mentality and materiality. Can you understand? There are 6 consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness. Because of this consciousness, mental materiality arises. Can you understand? Consciousness, if there is the consciousness means, I consciousness means the thing to cognize the form, there should be the I consciousness. Can you understand? When the consciousness is there, isn't there attention to that form? There is the attention. When the consciousness is there, what do you think about contact? When there is the consciousness, what do you think about contact? Isn't there a contact? There is contact. I, form and consciousness. Contact is there. When the contact is there are 3 things. Those 3 things are born with contact. Dependent on contact. What are those things? Vedana, Sanya, Chetana. All these three things are born dependent on contact. Okay, feeling, perception, formation. Now, what do you think about these things? We discussed about consciousness. When there is the consciousness somewhere, these factors will be there. What are those? First one, attention, we discussed, then contact, then formation, perception. What do you think about Nama? Nama, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Phassa, Manasika. Feeling, perception, formation, contact, attention. Same. That's why it's called dependent on consciousness Again there is the case with four great elements. That's why it's called dependent on consciousness, mentally and materiality arise. Can you understand now? Then what is the reason for this consciousness? Causes and effects. Causes and effects. Sankharesu kosati jnani. Did you find the word to sankhara? There isn't a word to this sankhara. We can understand the detailed meaning and we can use Pali term. Is it good? Yes, let's use the Pali term, sankhara. The reason to this consciousness is the three sankharas. Kaya sankhara, vaci sankhara, chitta sankhara. Kaya sankhara means, you try to understand this one, in and out breathing. Okay? Vaci sankhara means, so now in and out breathing is, then Supreme Buddha explains the meaning of this Kaya Sankhara is, why is it called Kaya Sankhara? That in and out breathing is bound to body. So here Sankhara means word binding. That is the real word. Real word means up to this point. Something bind its body. Bound its body is called Kaya Sankhara. Then Vaci Sankhara, applied and sustained thought. Before speak words, that words should be arranged in your mind. That sustained and applied and sustained thoughts are bound with speech. That's called Vaci Sankhara. Kaya Patipaddo, Vaci Patipaddo. Then Chitta Sankhara. Sanya Vedana, perception and feeling, the same as previous. Bound with mind. That's called Chitta Sankhara. Can you understand? Because of this process, that consciousness arises. Can you understand? Okay, then he discovered, why is this sankhara? Why is these three types of sankhara? Why is this? Avidya paccaya sankhara. Avidya kosati sankhara hoti. Ignorance is the reason to this ignorant body. That's called Kaya Sankhara. Ignorance is the reason to this ignorant words, to that Vaci Sankhara. Ignorance is the reason to this ignorant mind. That's called Chitta Sankhara. Can you understand? What is ignorance? Not knowing the suffering, not knowing the origin of suffering, not knowing the cessation of suffering, not knowing the path leading to the cessation of suffering as noble truth. Because of this ignorance, now we have that ignorance. What do you think about sankhara? Body. Our body is, have we understood this body, or is this an ignorant body? Ignorant body. That's called avidya paccaya sankhara. And why do we say lies? They are the ignorant in our speech. That's called vaci sankhara, avidya paccaya sankhara. And why is there this mental suffering? ignorance is there in our mind. That's called Chitta Sankara. In Vedana and Sanya. There is distorted perception and a feeling without understanding. That's called Avidya Paccaya Sankara. Now we have that life with body, speech and that Chitta Sankara. Kaya Sankara, Vaci Sankara, Chitta Sankara. When we open our eyes, then the consciousness arises with ignorance. Can you understand? In all faculties, consciousness, 6 kinds of consciousness arise. Sankara Paccaya Vijnana. With these consciousness, attention, contact, formation, perception, feeling. And always there is the combination with 4 great elements, with form, sound, taste and all the things. Vijnana Paccaya Nama Rupa. Dependent on consciousness, mental and materiality arise. With such ignorant mentality and materiality, we have 6 faculties. That's called Namarupa Paccaya Salayatana. Salayatana Paccaya also dependent on these 6 faculties, contact arises. When we open our eyes, we see forms with ignorance. We hear sound with ignorance. We smell odors with ignorance. Can you understand this science? When we taste with ignorance, then we experience the tangibles with ignorance. We think thoughts with ignorance. That's called Salayatana Paccaya Phassa. Phassa Paccaya Vedana. With this ignorant contact, always there is a feeling. We do not know about this process from ignorance. When the feeling arises, dependent on that feeling, craving arises. Vedana Paccaya Tanha. Because of contact, feeling there, then Phassa Paccaya Vedana, Vedana Paccaya Tanha. Then we have a desire because of that gratification of that feeling, which gives from form, sounds and other all the external faculties. We have that desire to experience the satisfaction of that one. Then dependent on that craving, we cling to that one. Clinging arises. Then we use our body, speech and mind to enjoy that thing. It's called arranging of karma. Bhava Paccaya Jati. Because of this arranging karma, depending on this bhava, arranging of karma, birth arises. Another birth. Anywhere. When there are 6 faculties, we can go anywhere. But not to our choice. According to choice of karma. Then aging and death. In this way, that Siddhartha Bodhisattva understood idam avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana, vijnana paccaya namarupa. You say namarupa paccaya salayatana, salayatana paccaya phassa, phassa paccaya vedana, vedana paccaya tanha, tanha paccaya upadana, upadana paccaya bhava, bhava paccaya jati, jati paccaya jara marana, soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti. Evametatsa kevalassa dukkhakkhandassa samudayo hoti. In this way, there is the arranging of 4 mass of suffering. Now this is called the light about the origin of suffering. Then he came to the conclusion of samudayo, samudayo tiko bhikkave. This is the origin. This is the origin. Kubbe ananusutesu dhammesu. In the knowledge which haven't achieved, never. With that knowledge, chakkum udapadi. Eye of Dhamma, new eye. Eye of Dhamma arose. Jnanam udapadi. Knowledge arose. Panya udapadi. Wisdom arose. Vidya udapadi. What's the word? to Jnana udapadi, knowledge arose. Vidya udapadi?
Super knowledge.
There isn't the word. Vidya called knowledge. Knowledge? Okay, let's use super knowledge arose. If you can find, please inform me, okay? Aloka udapadi, light arose. Okay, then the first part, we understood all things. Now can you understand why our great teacher is called Samma Sambuddha? Understood the origin of suffering without anyone's help. Was there any teacher to teach him? No. Only the gang of Mara were there. There was the teacher. Then he understood the first part of his research, then second part. Hissa Nirodha Jaravarana Nirodha. Now what is the question? Aging and death. So then, by the cessation of what? Ceases aging and death. Now can you give the answer? When there is not birth, then he understood Jatiya ko asati jaravaranam nahoti. When there is not birth, there is not aging and death. Jati nirodha jaravarana nirodha. By the cessation of birth, there is the cessation of aging and death. With an eye, now you know about birth. So with an eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, could we get release from suffering? No, never. With this ignorant six faculties, no one can escape from suffering. If we can understand these six faculties, then in this life we will escape. Here and now, in this very life, we will escape from suffering, and again there will be another six faculties. This is the cessation of suffering. Can you understand? Then, by the cessation of what ceases the birth? Again his question. Yes, when you understood by his wise consideration and with the help of his wisdom, bhave ko asati jati nahoti. If there is not arranging of karma, there is not birth. Bhava nirodha jati nirodha. With the cessation of arranging of karma, birth ceases. Is it clear? Okay, so these are very, very important. But there is a production of this eye. Remember that one. What is the production? Karma. Then this will be again and overcome in another life. Why? There is a new karma. Navam karma. Navam karma means by using this eye, acting by body, speech and mind. This is called Navam karma. New karma. Now we are producing this new karma, isn't it? Yes, we are producing new karma. This manufacturer will give the result. Production is a good management. Good manager, he has a good management. He will give another birth. Okay? Then that bodhisattva discovered, and you wanted to know by the cessation of what? Ceases arranging of karma. What is the reason to arranging karma? Clinging. Then he understood, upadane ko asati bhavo nahoti. When there is not clinging, there is not an arranging of karma. Is it clear? Then upadana nirodha bhava nirodha. With the cessation of clinging, arranging of karma ceases. Next question. Now is this like an examination? Examination or management about life. Then question was, what by the cessation of what? This clinging ceases. Yes. Tanhaya, now you are very clever. Tanhaya ko asati upadana hoti. When there is not craving, there is not clinging. Tanha nirodha upadana nirodha. By the cessation of craving, clinging ceases. Next question. He questioned without the help of a teacher. By the cessation of what? This craving ceases. Vedanaya ko asati tanha nahoti. When there is not feeling, there is not craving. Is it clear? Vedana nirodha, tanha nirodha. With the cessation of, by the cessation of feeling, craving ceases. Then, by the cessation of what? This feeling ceases. Contact. Phassa ko asati vedana nahoti. If there is not the contact, there is no feeling. Phassa nirodha vedana nirodha. By the cessation of contact, feeling ceases. Can we have a feeling without contact? No. Can we escape from feeling if there is a contact? No. Then what is by the cessation of what ceases the contact? Salayatana nirodha, phassa nirodha. With the cessation, by the cessation of six faculties, ceases the contact. When there is not the six faculties, then there is not contact. Then he developed his consideration wisely and wisdom. Then he questioned, by the cessation of what? These six faculties cease. Nama rupe ko asati. Yes. When there is not the mentality and materiality, there is not six faculties. With the cessation of mentality and materiality, there comes the cessation of six faculties. Can you understand? Try to understand. Okay. We are lucky to even listen to these things. Okay. Then, by the cessation of what comes the cessation of mentality and materiality. Vijnane ko asati, nama rupanna hoti. If there is not consciousness, there is not mentality and materiality. With the cessation of consciousness, mentality and materiality cease. Is it clear? Yes. Then, by the cessation of what? comes the cessation of consciousness. No. Sankhare ko asati. Do you want to go quickly to the end of suffering? No. We have to try step by step. But it's good to think in that way. Always we must strive to escape from suffering as possible as we can. Nothing is there to enjoy with the life. There is the real happiness by understanding life. Sankhara Nirodha, Vijnana Nirodha. By the cessation of three types of sankhara, then there comes the cessation of consciousness. By the cessation of what comes the cessation of sankhara? Avidya ko asati sankhara na hoti. When there is not ignorance, there is not that sankhara. Avidya nirodha, sankhara nirodha. By the cessation of ignorance, then there comes the cessation of sankhara. Then he understood, if there is the cessation of ignorance, it is the greatest thing. How to call to the cessation of ignorance? I have taught all these things, now we have to give the answers. How to call the cessation of ignorance? I will help. To ignorance in Pali is called avidya. To the opposite one in Pali is called vidya. I want English word. True knowledge. Can you remember? Vidya is called true knowledge. Can you remember the meaning of ignorance? Not knowing Four Noble Truths. True knowledge of vidya means understanding Four Noble Truths. From this point, at this point that Bodhisattva has the knowledge about suffering as a noble truth, then he understood the origination of suffering as a noble truth. Can you remember the first part of this discourse? Then this is the second part. With this second part, he understood the cessation of suffering as a noble truth. That same Bodhi tree, in that same seed, this situation happens. Then, when he comes to this point, he has completed path. Virtue, concentration, wisdom. He has followed noble, eightfold path. There wasn't any teacher. Itihidam avidya nirodha, sankhara nirodha. Now, true knowledge is there. Though there is a body, there is not the ignorance. It is a fully understood body. This is the life of an arahant. Though he speaks words, he doesn't speak false speech, nonsense speech, and wrong speech. No. He has the knowledge about speech. Now his mind is fully purified one. Avidya nirodha, sankhara nirodha. Can you remember now? Kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, chit sankhara. All the sankharas have been ceased. Can you understand? Now when he opens eyes, there is the arising of consciousness, but it's not an ignorant one. Sankhara nirodha, vijnana nirodha. There is that consciousness. Dependent on that consciousness, mental and materiality arises, but those are not ignorant ones. Nirodha. Those are ceased ones. Then Namarupa nirodha, salayatana nirodha. There are six faculties. Ignorance is not there. Fully understood, six faculties. He lives in the world on this earth. He walks. Then there is the contact, but it is an ceased contact. Salayatana nirodha, pasta nirodha. This is the thing we have to understand. Hasta Nirodha, Vedana Nirodha. Though there is a contact, though there is the meeting of I form and I consciousness, feeling is there. But he hasn't the craving to that feeling. No craving. Can you understand? Okay, then Vedana Nirodha, Tanna Nirodha, Upadana Nirodha. He doesn't cling to that one. He has the knowledge about this process from the beginning. Then, though he preaches Dhamma to others, though he eats, though he walks, though he washes his robes, he uses his body, speech and mind, but there is the cessation of karma, arranging of karma. There isn't an arranging of karma. Dependent on this, with the cessation of this arranging of karma, what is the result? There will be another birth. Then there will be the cessation of aging and death. In this way, Nirodho Nirodhotiko Bhikkave, this is the cessation, Hubbe Ananasutesu Dhammes. In the Dhamma, he has done that knowledge in past. In this moment, newly he understood all these things. Then Chakku Mudapadi, eye of Dhamma arose, Jnana Mudapadi, knowledge arose, Panya Mudapadi, wisdom arose. This is the cessation. Vidya Mudapadi. What does that know? Super knowledge arose. Aloko Udapadi, light arose. With this knowledge, when he comes to this knowledge, he achieved the third knowledge, destruction of all taints. Taints are the causes to give a birth again and again. With the knowledge of Four Noble Truths, he eradicates that all the taints, the roots of all taints, that's called Asavakkaya Jnana, destruction of all taints, the knowledge of destruction of all taints. Now he has three knowledge. Now he is not a bodhisattva anymore. With the attaining of this knowledge, now he has the three knowledge, three vidya. Recollection of past lives of beings, knowledge of passing away and reappearing of beings, knowledge of destruction of all the taints. Now when the full moon is there, under that Bodhi tree, under that same seat, without the help of a teacher, he became the enlightened one as Gautama Samma Sambuddha. We are going for refuge to our great teacher. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, may you have this opportunity to understand this Four Noble Truths and to eradicate origin of suffering and to achieve the cessation of suffering. May all of us have the opportunity to escape from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, what is the name of the discourse? Okay, please remember Gautama Sutta. Gautama Sutta. It is easy to remember. The struggle for the enlightenment of Gautama Buddha. This is that sutta. This is the case. This was the case under that Bodhi tree. This was the struggle. Are you happy? You want to listen to this one? Yes. Now Arahants, they collected these discourses in the Samyutta connected discourses in the second part. You can go through that discourse and you can learn more. Yes? Yes, in Veda Sutta. Yes. There that word, Kaya Patipadu, binding body, in that word there. I found that word from there, binding. There is some meaning to Sankara, binding. Vedas, from the Majjhima Nikaya, Middle End Discourses, first part. I think Chula Vedana, the Sauta discourse of questioning. Okay, so if you have anything to know, you are welcome to ask. Yes. So, research. We cannot even think about that. Maybe, yes.
May I ask you a question? What is the difference? There are two levels that I'm not very clear about. I'm getting quite confused. The mentality, materiality, and what follows from that is the five faculties.
Six faculties.
The six faculties, right. What is the difference in those two? Like, how do I understand mentality and materiality?
Yes, good. We have to understand the connection between these two is like this. First of all, we have to understand, we must question what is the reason to these six faculties. Then as the answer, Supreme Buddha will give the answer, dependent on mentality and materiality, six faculties arise. Is it clear? That one? Yes. Then, this I is about, this I is in the process of samsara. This is not the I of a dead body. Okay? If it is a dead body, then in that dead body there is the I. In that I, now when the dead body is there, then there is the I. Then the people, they visit that dead body. But is there a processing of suffering throughout that I? No. That's why this I is a result of mentality and materiality. This live I. That's called, to arrange the process of suffering, there should be the mentality and materiality in at the background of this I. That's why called mentality means five things. Okay, mentality means five things. Vedana, feeling, sanya, perception, cetana, formation, phassa, contact, manasikara, attention. These five things are called nama. Okay, can you understand? To give the process, to arrange the process of suffering, these five things should be there in the I. Now we have these five things, okay? Then there is the four great elements in this I, physical I. The physical thing, four great elements. That's called Rupa. Collection of Nama Rupa is called mentality and materiality. Dependent on this mentality and materiality, I arises. Ear arises. Nose arises. Tongue arises. Body arises. Mind arises. We can understand this one if we can find the production of this I. This I, now think about this one. This book, what is the production of this book? Paper. What is the production of this table? wood. What is the production of this glass? Glass. What is the production of eye? Again, mentality and materiality. Can you understand? Nothing else can be produced by the eye. This eye gives the production again to a feeling, to a perception, to a formation, to a contact, to an attention. Can you understand? This is the way to understand these six faculties. That is why do those results give by this eye? Why does that eye give those results? Why does that eye give a feeling, perception, formation, contact and attention? In the background of eye, there are those things. Can you understand? That's why that eye can produce only those things. Can you understand? With the help of paper, out of paper, this book has been made. So this book has paper. With the help of mentality and materiality, this eye has been arrived. So that eye can produce again only those factors. Can you understand? But for an eye of a dead body cannot produce those things. That's why it's called dependent on mentality and materiality, six faculties. Is it clear? Okay. So, is it clear? Yes, good. So, yes. So this is very important and very interesting because all these things are in our life. So only thing we are ignorant with these things. With the knowledge, first of all we must associate noble friends who teach this Dhamma. Then we must listen to this Dhamma. Then now you listen about, today you listen about mentality and materiality. Now the third factor should be developed. Wise consideration. If you can understand step by step what is the meaning here, dependent on mentality and materiality, six faculties are right. What is the meaning here? Then step by step you will understand. If you can develop concentration, it will help so much. Very, very clear this Dhamma. Yes. Okay. I like to do 1 or 2 minutes meditation, part of meditation. It will help you to help us to cut the origin of this suffering. This is very important meditation. We are going to arrange the karma to experience the cessation of karma. You listen very carefully and you think in this way. This I is impermanent. I is impermanent. I is impermanent. This ear is impermanent. This ear is impermanent. This ear is impermanent. This nose is impermanent. Nose is impermanent. Nose is impermanent. This tongue is impermanent. Tongue is impermanent. Tongue is impermanent. This body is impermanent. Body is impermanent. Body is impermanent. This mind is impermanent. Mind is impermanent. Mind is impermanent. All these faculties are conditioned faculties. Forms are impermanent. Forms are impermanent. Forms are impermanent. Sounds are impermanent. Sounds are impermanent. Sounds are impermanent. Odors are impermanent. Odors are impermanent. Odors are impermanent. Flavors are impermanent. Flavors are impermanent. Flavors are impermanent. Tangibles are impermanent. Tangibles are impermanent. Tangibles are impermanent. Thoughts are impermanent. Thoughts are impermanent. Thoughts are impermanent. Eye consciousness is impermanent. Ear consciousness is impermanent. Nose consciousness is impermanent. Tongue consciousness is impermanent. Body consciousness is impermanent. Consciousness of mind is impermanent. 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 Contact is impermanent. Meeting of eye, form, eye consciousness. Contact of eye is impermanent. Contact of ear is impermanent. Contact of nose is impermanent. Contact of tongue is impermanent. Contact of body is impermanent. Contact of mind is impermanent. Feeling born out of this contact is impermanent. Pleasant feeling is impermanent. Unpleasant feeling is impermanent. Neutral feeling is impermanent. All feelings are impermanent. Feelings are impermanent. Feelings are impermanent. With the cessation of contact, feeling ceases. Feeling is impermanent. Feeling is impermanent. Feeling is not mine. Feeling is not myself. Feeling is not I am. Feeling is impermanent. I cannot control feeling. Feeling is not myself. Feeling is not mine. All feelings are impermanent. Feelings are impermanent. 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 All feelings are impermanent. All feelings are impermanent. All feelings are impermanent. I want to understand the reality of all feelings. I want to develop my wisdom to understand the reality of feelings. I want to escape from these impermanent things. Sad, sad, sad. Okay, so now we have a lot of merit. We listen to Dhamma and I try to discuss with you this great Dhamma. We did meditation and we collect a lot of merit. Now we can share all merit with our teacher. May our Swamina have the opportunity to understand Four Noble Truths in this very life and to escape from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all Kalyana Mitra, noble friends in this monastery and all lay followers and to all of you, and may all of beings have the opportunity to escape from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. You save me, asking for forgiveness for people sins. Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya gatam acchayam kamame bhante bhuri panya tata. Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya gatam acchayam kamame dhamma samdittika kalika. Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya acchayam kamame sangha punyakettam anutta. Sad, sad, sad. We ask the forgiveness for any offenses by our body, speech and mind. Okay. Now, can you remember that how to bless in signal? I told that day to you. May the triple gems bless you. Yes? Teruvan Saranai. Good, good. Teruvan Saranai.
Maya katham punyam Swamina anumodikatam Swamina katham punyam Maya katham Sadhu sadhu anumodami Okara dvara devana Sakalam saranasya Kamarame sanse Okara kamani bante Dutiyampi okara kamani bante Satyampi okara kamani bante Namadena Namadevan